how the generative AI came into picture. And I will give you one slide. I'll just show you one quick introduction of the slide just to give you a brief idea, just to gain your interest, why, how this generative AI came into picture and why it is called generative. Like it was developed for content generation, and then gradually now it has moved into, as somebody was saying, agentic AI, no rack system you have might have heard. Obviously, prompt engineering is a core component of generative AI, but now it is itself is getting modified and moving towards agentic AI, and that is the first thing which we'll learn, obviously, as a part of this course. So initially it was, then gradually it moved up into the agentic AI stuff where apart from content generation, it will be think autonomously and do other stuff like booking your tickets. Okay, providing scrapping from the website and giving current information in terms of suggestions, right? You want to invest in some of the stock market. So what is the current best stocks available? So these are things which will agentic AI and this LLM model, large language model, the generative AI is now getting combined together. So now it is, you can see it is modifying itself. So initially developed for just for content generation, but the content generation, apart from which the skill it has of this content generation, it is now moving into the field of agentic AI that we will always learn. But yes, we will have the introduction. We will start with NLP basics so that people who have come from different adverse background, some have having basic knowledge of machine learning, deep learning, but majority of you are totally fresh and new coming from different domains. So we will start with NLP basic in terms of how machine which does not understand English is taking input as text and giving output at text. Then how does it do that? I mean, at the back end, there is some engineering. We call it as vectorization, like these words are converted into list of numbers, floating point numbers, which is also called as embedding. So those things we will understand how these, very basics we will start. So basics of this, how the processing of this, text are converted into numbers at the back end. And shall we have to do that by ourselves? No, we will learn the techniques, but we will see that these OpenAI, which you have heard of, GPT models, they also have their, not only the LLM models, every big source like Llama, OpenAI, Anthropic, all these big sources, they also provide an embedding model, an associated embedding model. Okay, what this associated embedding model does? It helps you to convert these vectors into no sorry this text into vectors, right? So that we will understand why it is required, how machine does not understand. So in text, how it can be converted into the techniques. Okay, so we'll start with the basics of that, um, and we will understand what is the difference between this GenAI with machine learning, deep learning and stuff. As you see the different modules, if you go, we will also understand how, what is this LLM is all about, what are these open source, closed source, what is the difference between all of them. Okay, which are the platform which we'll be using for doing for this implementation. We will see like Hugging Face libraries we will use. These are the buzzword which people who are little associated with machine learning might have heard this term. So all these we will understand, no, which are the platform which can be used, and similarly we will also understand this framework like LangChain, Llama Index, which are the framework which are used for closed source. Okay, closed source model like GPT models. And also we will see this how we will be calling this model and building applications. So uh, the application will be built either through API calls, or how can we download that and try to, there are certain platforms like Ulamas and others where you can download these models, and in a locally how we can use it. So we will see all the flavors. If you want to use your model locally, how you can do that. If you do not want to do that locally, use an API call, use the services provided of these big players, and use those models to work on that. That also it will that also it will be able to do that. Okay, so those things we will learn everything in detail. Conceptually we will also learn, also practically we will do lots of practical. So obviously Python knowledge is a prerequisite. Coding in Python, you will do coding. I will share the code, everything, all code there will be a Google Drive which this Visualpath will team will create specific for your batch. On that Google Drive, all the documentation, all the notebooks, all the Python code files will be uploaded. Okay, and you have to use those code, do it practically live on that session. Obviously, you will not be able to code live. You will be copy pasting it because obviously 1 hour session. But the objective is once you get that boiler code, use that code, practice. No, once the classes are over, so that you are able to create lots of application. We will create many applications like summarization, content generation, chatbot, whatever you say. So there are three more. There will be three specific applications, which is part of your main thing. Like we will create medical chatbot. That is an important applications we will create toward the end of the course, which is be useful for your resume and project presentation. Okay, it will be uploading that end-to-end project, which I say. So we will have three projects. Well, medical chatbot, we will have ATS system, application tracking system, which is useful for you to to see your job match before you apply for any job with your resume. So JD versus your resume, the job match, and what are the skill missing. It will also tell you what is the skill missing in your resume, so that you can upgrade your resume before you apply for any of the job hunt you are doing outside. So that type of application we will build. We will also do a multi PDF query, which is like comparing the PDF, uploading the PDF, and then asking questions, which is very, very helpful in your useful for your legal team. Okay, so that also we will do. So these are the three major projects, end-to-end projects we will do, apart from other applications. So out of 60 hours, approximately 44 45 hours, you will see we will do lots of practicals, where we will understand, create applications through coding. Okay, so you have to bring your laptop. You should be able to share your screen and start, use the code to do that. Okay, we will see how to set up a project, especially, obviously the first session will be your software installation, and I don't know, whatever the prerequisite softwares are required, the API keys will be generated. So that will be as our first session. But once that setup is done, almost 40 to 45, 46 sessions, you will have hardcore practical sessions where we will do that. What about the rest session? We will learn the concepts, especially we will understand how the evaluation happen in terms of the transformer architecture. The focus will be more in-depth understanding of the transformer architecture, which is important for your interview purpose. Because in an interview, they will ask you what is an encoder decoder architecture is all about, because transformers are the building block of your LLM. So those those will be understood, where conceptually we will understand what this LLM model is made up of, and how this transformer architecture is state of art architecture, which is helping us to do all these laborious work very easily. So those things we will able to understand properly in case of those theoretical part. If you see in the model, in the module, you'll see we will do all the foundation model. We'll also do quantization technique. What you see here, this GGUF, GGML model. We will also do fine tuning of the models, like how we are able to fine tune the model in terms of doing our specific task. That we will understand. We will do that. As I said, LangChain we will cover. These are all frameworks which is there. RAG system, which is an important thing, where you can use your data which is not available over the internet, some confidential data. Suppose you have, how to build up that application using, they call this retrieval augmented generator. How this RAG system, where the model is only accessing your data and trying to query that data. So how these RAG systems are built, that we will do. uh, Obviously, as I said, fine tuning. We will also understand the evaluation matrix, which is important, this LLM model. So it is a very exhaustive, in-depth, starting from basics. We will move across the advanced topic. Prompt engineering, as I said, prompt engineering is an important module, and a big module, where we will understand the different techniques of prompting, And I'm sure after you learn that, you will use, I know people use chat gpts now every day, everybody use it. So you will understand the technique. Once you understand, learn those technique, then it will help you to give those prompts properly. Okay, so that prompting you will be able to understand. Okay, how the prompts, how to write different ways of prompts, which will give you, actually the prompts is the main criteria which gives you the correct generative part which the AI is responding. So what is the inner rules are present? There are certain rules which internally work, which help us to give a better response. So that we will learn, which is part of this advanced prompting techniques. If you see in this module, we have agentic AI. As I said, we will learn all the agentic AI. Don't worry, we'll cover all the base of agentic AI, because we'll also use different framework where it is a low code framework is there. That techniques, suppose there's another thing called notebook LM. So these are the latest platforms which has come up, like LangGraph, LangFlow is there, which is a no code technique. So that all those techniques we will learn, which will help us to create our agentic AI applications and all. We'll create multiple application. We agentic AI, RAG, prompt engineering. These are the big chapters which will be, or the modules which will be part of your course. We will give more focus on this, which is the trending one. uh, and apart from the other things, obviously the theoretical part will be starting of the course, where you need to understand that concept, will make you interview ready. That's the objective. And you understand end to end, practically implementing, creating applications using Streamlit and the combination of this LLM models. Okay, guardrails, this is an important concept where we'll also cover how ethically you can put guardrail both at the input level and the output level, so that it does not give you any sensitive data information or unethical information. How to control that, how to put guardrails in our applications which is having the generative AI. Okay, obviously, as I said, real world application and case studies, those three case studies which I said: medical chatbot, ATS system, multi PDF, which is real world case studies which will be covered. Okay, software testing, we will also create an application where we will create test scripts, which is an important thing. So we will also create how to automate and generate test cases and artifacts. So that is what we will do with GenAI. That is one of the application which will be which we'll try to cover in this course. So if you see, and obviously apart from this, from my side, I will give you one project basis the domain which you're working on. People who are in finance domain, telecom domain, which I generally do as a part of project, which you have to do end to end, upload in GitHub, review with me, so that you can upload to that project which is relevant for your domain which you are currently working on, and put it in your resume. So we have to upload in GitHub in an end to end form. Then that GitHub link should be used in your resume. So I will provide you use cases specific domain, which I generally do for all the batches before. So apart from those through three real world use cases and the applications what you're building, during this 45 hours of end-to-end practical sessions, 45, 46 hours, you will also have additional, that is outside the your this hour of course, which you have to do separately and review it with me. um, these projects which will be like end to end, you have to develop at your end and upload in your GitHub repository. Okay, that will be that is the entire structure. We'll also cover a little bit of deployment in terms of how we are deploying in Streamlit cloud and in AWS. We will also see that how the LLM no once you have developed the application, how you can deploy it and share it with the world, the URL which you have which will get generated. So AWS and Streamlit cloud we will use for the deployment perspective. We will have two sessions of little bit of MLOps, just to give you end-to-end feeling how to build an end-to-end application in terms of from data ingestion to final application building. We will have an ML use case there just to give a better structure and flow, because we'll use ML flow and DVC to do the versioning part of data and the ML flow for orchestration. That also we have two sessions on that, so that just to cover that base, which is not required for your case, but just to cover that, have that knowledge of MLOps flavor, so that okay, if you are going into say startup, They will ask you to do end-to-end everything so that you have that sense there. You will be learning how to fine tune an existing model specific to your use case. Yes. And you will generate, post fine tuning, you will generate a different version of the model, the bin file, .bin file, that's what the models are. And you will be able to upload that in your Hugging Face, in your own Hugging Face workspace. You will see that there will be a read token, write token. You will be able to see that in your upload that in your Hugging Face, so that that also mention in your resume that you have fine-tuned this model for this specific use case or task, and it is available so that people can use your model across the world. You will learn the technique, you will do that practically also, how you can fine tune using different techniques. Knowledge of
Okay.
Python is a prerequisite in terms of good to have. If you do not know Python, don't worry. During the first, as I said, first 10-15 session where we will do this installation, introduction, theoretical concepts of architecture like encoder, decoder, attention model, transformer, people can go through to any YouTube link just to brush up the Python. So you hardly need 7 days time if you really dedicatedly give 1 hour each day to learn Python. So people who have zero knowledge on Python, they can also just quickly learn the basics of Python, because anyhow it's a very human interpretable language. It's not that complex. People who have deep learning, machine learning knowledge, I think some of the students, they have the added advantage in terms of some of the jargons when we will discuss. No, you have an end-to-end flow. People have that data science background, and they have that little bit of edge in terms of at least the deep learning, like how neural networks are built, because NLP transformer architecture internally has neural networks. So not to worry, not that if you do not know you will not understand anything, not nothing like that. It's just something new. Anyway, we will explain from scratch. You will learn while going through the course.